17,000 people found out by email, no warning. Then the lights went off. On May 1st, Spirit was flying 300 flights a day. By 3 the next morning, it was flying none. Not delayed, not reduced, gone. This is the story of how America's cheapest airline went on trial and how you ended up paying for it. 14,000 employees, 3,000 contractors. Some, in Houston, read about it an hour before the rest of the country. But here is what makes this different from every airline that died before it. 50,000 people had a seat booked that morning, and the airlines that spent a decade mocking Spirit, they had to fly them home. 18 months earlier, the government went to court to stop Spirit being bought by JetBlue. A federal judge agreed. The reasoning was simple, and it was about you. If Spirit vanished into a bigger airline, cheap fares would vanish with it. So the court blocked the deal to protect low fares. Spirit is gone now, and fares on the routes it flew are up as much as 23%. The rescue was blocked to protect you. Then it left you paying more. So what was Spirit really? It was the airline you took because it was the one you could afford. The bag sizer at the gate. Everybody who flew it has a story. The seat that does not recline, 28 inches of legroom. This was the low-cost model made physical. The ticket was bait. The real money came from everything else. Here is the charge. In 2019, nearly half of Spirit's revenue came from fees, not fares. 47%, the highest ratio of any airline on Earth. Fees per passenger went from $5 to $55 in 8 years. A business that thin has to be perfect forever. Start with the ledger. Spirit lost over $2.5 billion before its first bankruptcy. 4 straight years of red ink. And that was before the crisis everyone remembers had even begun. At the first filing, it carried $3.3 billion in debt. $1.1 billion of that came due within 12 months, at 8% interest. And it carried no fuel hedge since 2015. Why? Its own filing admits it was too cash poor to afford one. Cash poor, so no hedge. No hedge, so any oil spike hits at full force. Then it filed a second time, just 5 months after leaving the first. So who is actually on trial here? Now the defense, and it is genuinely persuasive. It starts inside the engines. Pratt and Whitney admitted a defect in their own metal. It grounded 38 Spirit jets at once. That is a fifth of the airline, sitting on the ground, earning nothing. Spirit did not cause it, and Spirit could not fix it. Then a war lit a fire under fuel. Spirit burned about $100 million in 2 months, money it did not have. And then the rescue died in a room. A $500 million federal package collapsed. 2 creditors, Citadel and Ares, refused to let the government's money jump ahead of theirs. A financiers standoff, not a verdict on whether the airline could fly. So here is what it costs you. When Spirit left a route, fares on it rose about 23%. Traffic fell about 20%. That is the Spirit effect, running in reverse, on 73 routes at once. Fort Lauderdale was 29% Spirit, nearly a third of the airport, dark. And 2 towns had nobody else at all. Rochester to Fort Lauderdale, Bucaramanga, Colombia to Fort Lauderdale. They did not lose a cheap option. They lost the option.
So who pays? There are 3 defendants here. The airline, the ultra-low-cost model, and the court that blocked its lifeline in the name of cheap fares. Here is my verdict. The court blocked the rescue to protect cheap flights. 18 months later, the flights are gone, and the fares are higher. The policy worked exactly as intended, and it produced the opposite of what it promised.
So the gavel comes down. Not guilty of murder, guilty of denying the victim its exit, with the rescue party holding the door shut. At 9 minutes past midnight, the last Spirit flight touched down, Detroit to Dallas, the most tracked flight on Earth that night. By 3 a.m., every yellow jet was dark.
Knowing the full aftermath, I'd say blocking JetBlue Spirit was the wrong call for consumers on the ground. Antitrust protected the idea of Spirit more than the actual dying capacity, and the result was higher fares and more Big Four power. The next model I'd watch is app-based food delivery and quick commerce, because it still depends on subsidized convenience, squeezed labor, and customers who may not pay the true cost once capital and regulation stop flattering the unit economics.
Based on the outcome, blocking the merger was a failure of predictive analysis, as it treated a failing entity as a viable competitor and ironically produced the exact consolidation and higher fares it was meant to prevent. The business model most vulnerable to this same dynamic is video streaming, where numerous services are burning through capital on content to support an unsustainably low subscription price, making consolidation seem not just likely, but necessary for survival.
I keep wanting to blame the judge, and I think that instinct is wrong. The $29 fare was never really a product. It was a marketing cost that passengers happened to sit inside. Antitrust protected a price when what needed protecting was a competitor. We saved the fare on the screen, and we lost the only company that forced everyone else to match it.
The panel makes fair points, but where they defend blocking the merger, I rule against them. Protecting a price by killing its seller is not protection. Now, here is the lesson you can steal. If all your profit hides in the add-ons, your core product is a subsidy. And the moment a bigger player copies that subsidy, they own you. Charge for the thing you are actually best at. Spirit never did. Think my verdict is wrong? Tell me where in the comments. Court adjourned.